Hi, and welcome to the Portland Metal Show. This is a new show. I'm just getting started. This is the first episode, and typically things aren't going to work out as they are in this particular episode, as I'm just getting the wheels turning here. But basically, what I want to do is hang out with metalheads in the Portland area and talk about bands that are coming to Portland. I already know tons of metalheads around this area, all kinds of people who like Viking metal, death metal, black metal, all kinds of different styles of metal, people who are experts in those fields, who have their own opinions. They keep track of the members of the bands and all kinds of other really cool stuff. So there's always something interesting to talk about. And one thing that I've noticed is, when I go to a metal show, I love talking about the bands that are going to be on stage, but I've found that there's so many times where I'm completely in the dark or out of the loop about what's going on with whatever band. And that might be something like, a band guitarist is not on stage tonight for whatever reason, and it's been for stuff like they couldn't get a visa into the United States, and or they have like a guest musician that you wouldn't normally see. So that's always really interesting stuff, that it's like it can be a special treat, and sometimes it can be really bad, because I've seen shows where members aren't on stage where they're supposed to be, and it doesn't sound right at all. One band in particular that just stands out, I remember the bassist for Fintroll had just jacked up his back real bad. He had to go to the hospital, and for whatever reason, the sound quality that night was just garbage. It just didn't sound good at all, and I was just really disappointed, because with a band like Fintroll, everything needs to be where it's supposed to be to put on a good show, musically speaking. So, and you could just see too that the bassist physically was in pain on stage while he was playing. He had just gotten out of the hospital, and he was he wasn't enjoying himself. You could tell he wanted to go back to the bus. So anyways, the point is that, this is going to be a show where you can hear myself and others talk about the news of the day, whatever's going on with the band that's coming to town, so that you will be informed, hopefully, when you show up to the show. And also, it might convince you to buy a ticket if you haven't already got one. This is also going to be a show, I think, where, if I get the opportunity to talk to opening bands like local acts from Portland, Oregon, I'm definitely going to jump on that. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see anything that's coming up, and out of the Portland area. Lately we've seen some really cool stuff coming from our neck of the woods, like, Red Fang or Ueda. I still don't know if that's how you pronounce the name of that band, Ueda. I think that's how you say it. I probably sound like a doofus, but I've always called them Ueda. But, I've been following that band since its conception, and the lead singer of that group, he came from another band called Ceremonial Castings. They were super rad, way cool, and I'm just super stoked to see all the success he's getting with his new band, touring all around the world. And it's just, stuff like that. You're like, yes, that's what I always hope to see from, these low-level local acts, just slowly working their way up the ranks, and then just finding themselves on, posters for tours somewhere in some other country, going to these metal festivals where you might see their logo all the way at the bottom of the poster, and then just like a year goes by, and then they found their way up into the middle of the poster, and then you're just like, yes, that's super cool, because you just know that they're getting more popular, that they just get their way up that poster, and then pretty soon, you never know, they're going to be the main event on the top of the poster with the big logo right there, where it's like, yes, Red Fang, fuck yeah, that's like right, boom, next thing you know, they're on TV and all that kind of cool stuff. And just, and I think I've heard too that, I want to say, like, the guitarist for Red Fang, he used to work at the Shanghai Tunnel, and it's just so crazy that bar on 2nd Avenue, right where the Portland marketplace is. And it's just so crazy to think how many times I've been to that bar, possibly have walked by him, not recognizing him, and then just like thinking to myself, like, wow, it would have been cool to get an autograph. Or, you never know who they're going to be or who anybody is, until they're that person. So it's just kind of a cool little story that, right there. And my wife used to live right on top of that bar, right on top of Voodoo Donuts, in fact. So like that bar was always right there. And just kind of crazy to think how many times. Anyways, the point is, this is going to be a pretty cool show. I don't want to go on too long. I've probably gone on long enough. You're going to understand the gist of the show once we get into the conversation. Today, I'm going to be talking to my friend Danny. He used to, I've always known him and remembered him by his nickname, Danny Dumbass. The guy is so awesome. He's a big metalhead. You can always trust this dude in the mosh pit because he's just this. I've always said he's like a port in a storm, where it's like no matter how crazy the crowd gets, you could always just hang on to him and you're totally going to be fine, because he's just this massive Hulk who's just like, he loves to pick you up by your arms and swing you around and throw you into the crowd like a rag doll. It's so much fun with him in the crowd. And he just like, he kind of reminds me of Thudbutt from the movie Hook, where he's just like, cannonball, and then he just like rolls into the mosh pit and just clobbers everybody in his way, and there's just nothing you could do to stop him because he's got so much momentum. Or who's that guy? The Juggernaut, he just like busts through walls. So, he's just, he's a great dude, and he's a major metalhead, and he knows a lot about Viking metal. So I'm going to talk to him on the phone, and we're going to roll right into that phone call right now. Dude, how's it going?
Doing pretty good, man.
All right. Well, you're definitely going to the Ensiferum show this Saturday?
For sure, dude. It's a can't-miss show. Got to be there. Got to have a good time.
Did you see the One-Man Army tour?
I believe I did. I'm not 100% on that one. You know what year that was?
3 years ago, 2015, I think. But
I may have missed that one.
I know I definitely made it, because that was the tour Cassie first saw them, and her memory that she always brings up is at some point, one of their songs, she saw the crowd throw me in the air, and like she saw me headbanging and throwing up the horns, but was like being tossed around like a rag doll.
Oh man.
It was pretty cool. I think I was showing off a little bit. I wanted her to see me fucking having a good time.
Well, I hope we see that same kind of energy out of the both of us this coming Saturday.
For sure, dude. Yeah, well, Ensiferum really brings it hard, for sure. I just got to save my energy through Septicflesh, but it will be saved. It will be. I always save my energy for the main events. Or for
I have a story.
Okay.
So I was looking through all my concert posters that I've had over the years.
Okay.
And Septicflesh popped up in one of those posters. They were here when Children of Bodom came to town in 2011, and they may have been the band that I moshed to so hard that I ripped my pants, my jeans. I ripped my jeans, and then broke my ankle like 20 minutes later.
No.
So when I saw that name on that poster, I went, oh boy, I better take it easy during Septicflesh.
Go easy, dude. Oh man, I still remember you going out on a stretcher, and like there's people on the sidewalk going like, yeah, dude, you fucking mosh hard.
Somebody called the ambulance for you, dude.
That was awesome, dude. That has to be.
Oh my god.
That definitely has got to be one of the metalist things you could do as a metal fan, like things that you should hope to achieve as a metalhead, being pulled out on a stretcher from the show. That's definitely a good one. That has to be up there.
If only that happened in the mosh pit and not me just being a dumbass and jumping down some stairs, man.
It doesn't matter. It was at a metal show. It was at a metal show, so it counts. All things are under the metal show umbrella at the metal show.
All right.
Well, I mean, for sure, because like all kinds of stuff happen outside the show too. I've got plenty of really awesome things that have happened outside of the venue. You know, like waiting for bands and stuff. But, dude, I've never seen Septicflesh, and I've only heard a couple of their songs over the years. Like, I've always, like, sort of seen them around and then, like, listened to them from here and there, but never really got into them. So I really wanted to kind of pick up on them for this tour so I could figure them out. And the best I could come up with is that they sound, to me at least, a cross between, like, well... Again, this is their newest album, so I started from the first track, and they have a lot of orchestration going on.
Yeah.
And so it reminded me a lot of Dimmu Borgir, but then the vocals kicked in, and then it reminded me of Belphegor. So it's like more black metal sound to it, I think, than Dimmu Borgir. But it was pretty rad. I really liked the choir set in that song, that first track.
I love the choir stuff, but as soon as the vocals come on, it's not my favorite flavor of metal, that's for sure. The vocals are a little harsh for me, but I was enjoying that album as well, so
right.
I'm interested to see where they're at for their live show.
Black metal vocals, like, it kind of reminded me of, like I said, like Belphegor, but then it could have also been Behemoth, too. So it's like that kind of style, which I totally understand. And then also, I know that bands like, and I can't say this for Septicflesh because I don't know them that well, but I know bands like Behemoth kind of get, I've heard people say that they get repetitive a little bit. And I love Behemoth. I've been a fan of them for years, but I can kind of understand what people are saying with them. But it's just I like them, so it doesn't bother me too much. But anyways, this new album, The Two Paths, it's been around for a while now, and they're just now coming to Portland, touring America with it.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're still supporting this album. It's definitely been out for quite a while.
Yeah, it's been way too long, man. Since they've come to town, and I was sort of starting to get worried because there's been a few Viking metal bands that I haven't seen recently, you know, like Fintroll or Ensiferum and just other Viking metal bands like Tarissas. It just seemed to have fallen off the map a little bit. Tarissa
definitely has fallen off the map. I just feel like the bands are skipping over Portland for some reason. I don't know if we're just not bringing the crowds or they're not bringing the energy or something, but man, they take the day off in between California and Seattle a lot.
I know, and what's really lame is Seattle isn't that special because Cassie and I just went up to Seattle to see Winter Sun, and the venue there was not that great. Like, nothing compared to the Hawthorne or places around here. So I was sort of let down. I mean, the show was great, but because Winter Sun is amazing, but the venue just was sort of lame. They had all.
What venue was that at?
I want to say it was called, off the top of my head, it's hard for me to remember, but it was like right down the street from Silver Platters, and I think it was called, oh boy, I hope, it's going to be something Rocks. I can't remember exactly, but the thing is it looked like a pretty cool place, but they set it up in a way where, like, anyone who's 21 or over having a drink, they have to be behind a chain link fence.
What?
Yeah, it was so lame, dude. It just, like, kills all the energy if you're behind that fence, which, you know, I wanted to have a beer or two. My wife and I wanted to drink, so we were behind that chain link fence, and it just killed all the energy. I was like, it was pretty lame. And then also, if you, like, push up against the fence at all, there's, like, a security guard kind of watching who's like,
of course.
It's so lame. I wasn't happy with that venue. I really wish they'd come back to Hawthorne Theater because they just really bring it when they're there. But,
See, they skipped right over us. They took that day off, man.
I know, I saw that. I was disappointed. But they were worth the trip. And by the way, one thing that happened that was kind of weird was in Seattle, our Uber driver got into a car accident while we were driving to the venue.
Oh, man.
It was awkward as hell. We're just sitting in the back seat like,
do we have to stay here?
What's going on?
Can we go to the concert now?
And the weird part is he just, like, went up to the car, even though there was clearly damage to both vehicles, because it was a pretty hefty slam. He went up to the car, and then he, like, walked away, and we drove away. And it was like, you're not going to trade information or do it? Okay, whatever. If it was my car, I would have done it. There's no way in hell I'm walking away from that. But so this Two Paths album, the thing about it is the thing that stands out the most to me was I remember you specifically saying you weren't initially impressed with the album.
Yep, I still stick by that. It's a solid album. I mean, it's not amazing. It's not shit. It's another Ensiferum album. I definitely like some of their earlier releases better, which I'm sure a lot of people will say the same thing. Mm-hmm. My favorite album from them has got to be Unsung Heroes, man.
Oh, that is a great album for sure. So many good
love
singles
that album.
on that. Yeah, it's really good. My personal favorite, well, yeah, that album is really good. It just has such a good sound to it, the melodies throughout. But I've always loved From Afar. But then also,
classic, man.
Yeah, that first song is really killer. But the Two Paths, so a couple interesting things about it from what I've been able to look up and learn is the band emphasized the point that the album has a superior sound quality because they recorded with tapes and used an analog switchboard instead of using a digital control panel. And the mixer responsible for, I guess, composing, or not composing, but sort of like putting together the music, he said that the difference is that of driving a Ferrari in a video game and actually driving a Ferrari in real life. So he swears that this is better sound quality, and I just wish I knew more because I'm not a sound mixer guy or a sound engineer.
Yeah, my ears don't hear the differences, unfortunately, either.
I know. I want to pick up on stuff like that, but I just am not. I just don't know enough. But they did the same recording style with One Man Army, and I think that. And I did enjoy One Man Army. My wife really loves that album too. The thing is about the Two Paths is one of the biggest things I think that makes this album special is that they acquired Netta Skog from the accordion player from Tarissas as a member of the band, officially a member of the band in this album. So she contributed musically a lot of stuff to the overall album. And I think it was...
She's gone now, though, right?
No, we should be seeing her on Saturday. I
thought she left.
I would be disappointed if she did because I've seen her with Tarissas and I've also seen her with the One Man Army tour as a guest musician when she toured with the band. I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, I remember when I went to that tour, I was like, I read that their keyboardist isn't with them anymore. I wonder what they're going to do without one. And then I saw Netta Skog and I was like, yes!
Yeah!
Awesome! So that is so cool that she's with the band because I remember seeing her for the first time in a DVD called A Finished Summer with Tarissas, and I was really impressed that she was doing so well, and I guess that's sort of how she made her mark in Viking metal. I'm sure she's a talented musician already as it is, like classically trained, I think. And then they just Tarissas picked her up, and she just must have gotten so much attention as being a metalhead, and also people just love her energy on stage, so she just has been going on with the metal scene ever since. So that'll
be interesting to see if she's playing with the band.
I
feel like she left the band for some reason, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh boy, I really hope not. Making a one album and that's it. That sucks, but she is really cool and fun to watch on stage, and she's really talented too. So it's it really does make a difference listening to the accordion instead of a keyboard player.
Yeah.
Because keyboard player is kind of a weird spot in a metal band because you're sitting at a station, pushing down on the keys, but it doesn't feel metal when you're watching it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't look metal. So it's kind of weird. And I think...
And the accordion does look metal.
For sure, dude. And it really does add a huge part to the Viking metal scene. I think the Viking metal sound, it definitely works somehow.
Yeah.
But...
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
which version of Toothpaste did you get? Did you get like the deluxe with like the bonus DVD and shit?
No, I didn't.
Oh man,
the Two Paths album I got was I just downloaded it off of iTunes, so I didn't get any special features.
So I have a bonus DVD in mine, and it's got an acoustic set that they did.
Oh,
and it's fucking amazing, man.
Wow. That's different.
God, I gotta get this disc to you, or the DVD, man. Man. I don't usually watch the bonus DVDs that I get, but this one was fucking killer.
Oh, right on. Hell yeah.
Oh, I need to get this to you ASAP.
Just we'll have to meet up at a certain point. I would say bring it to the show, but I could just imagine the disc breaking somehow.
Yeah.
So.
No, man, I want to hang out with you sometime, and I can bring that over, and we can chill out, and maybe we can watch that or something.
Oh, hell yeah, for sure.
It's so good, though.
So, yeah, once we get to the show, it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And then I think what we'll do is, we'll basically be planning ahead. I don't know if is there any other band coming up that you're interested in seeing?
At that show or the next concert?
Just coming to town. Just, any other band that you know of, any tour coming through that you're interested in?
I think the only thing that I've seen upcoming that I can think of is Children of Bodom. God, I want to say a week later or something ridiculous.
Children of Bodom, I believe, is at the end of January. Yeah, last day of January. Yeah, 30th. Yes,
I'm
Monday,
on that, that's for sure.
It's a Monday. That's what sucks about
Monday?
it. You got to make time for metal on Mondays.
Metal Mondays.
Dude. But
I'll just put that down for my request for the day off. I'll just write Metal Mondays. Sorry.
Dude, but right before that, Soulfly and Cataclysm. And Cataclysm is really fun. I really like Soulfly a lot, too. But,
Who's in Soulfly nowadays?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't follow them super closely. I know I like their music, but I haven't really looked into the members of the band if there's been any switcheroos. So I don't know.
I feel like one of the Cavallera brothers is not in that band anymore. I haven't kept up with them. I have a couple albums from them.
Oh, no, that would be really weird if that was true, but I
don't know.
Wow. Yeah, maybe you're right, though, because they have their own band now, so maybe he's just
Inflicted? Or not Inflicted, the Cavallera Conspiracy?
Exactly. Maybe he's just not doing that stuff anymore, but I can't...
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought that Soulfly was, his deal, so I don't know.
Hey, you never know.
I'm definitely looking at the Decibel tour with Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel and Immolation. So,
oh my goodness, that would just wipe me the fuck out.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty brutal, dude.
Hey, have you noticed that the Summer of Slaughter tours have not been all that great these last couple years?
Yeah, and have they still been coming to Portland?
They are. They came to Portland this last summer, but it was not good. It wasn't bands I really want to go see, or especially spend that kind of money to see, or spend a whole day at the venue, because those Summer of Slaughters are really long. And just to see every band, which if you go to one of those things, they can be a lot of fun if you're there all day just hanging out. But if the bands aren't that good, or if you don't know them that well, then it's not that much fun.
Yeah. I was talking over with my buddy Patrick, and we were talking about Pagan Fest and how we haven't seen a Pagan Fest come around for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?
I don't know. That's true. Maybe they're just changing pace. I don't know. They might be trying something different now. Who knows? I feel like
they reached out to the Facebook community and maybe even social media community and asked if there was another Pagan Fest, which bands would you like to see? I haven't looked at it recently, but that was an interesting post that I saw from them. It gave me hope that maybe one day we'll see Pagan Fest return.
What bands did people talk about?
I'd have to go look at the comments, but
right.
I can't recall which bands. There were so many of them people were requesting.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some good stuff. Personally, I really loved seeing. I want to say, I definitely know I've seen one with Ensiferum. I've seen one, I think, with Moon Sorrow. I could be wrong. I could be getting things mixed up because it's been.
That sounds all right.
Yeah, I think I remember. And oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot to mention this since we're on the topic of Viking metal. The guitarist for Tyr left the band, and he's been with them for like over 20 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he just said he gave up on metal.
You can't just give up on metal.
Yeah, I guess so, dude. He just was like, what I read was he was like saying, I'm just done with metal. And I'm, nothing, he said nothing personal against the band, but I'm just done with this and no more. But the band has also started recording a new album, so he's not going to be a part of it, which is unfortunate. But, we'll see how it sounds. Hopefully it maintains its integrity and sound.
Yeah.
Don't get too off the tracks.
I have a poster up on my wall of Pagan Fest featuring Ensiferum and Tyr and Trollfest.
Yes, Trollfest.
And even the band Anamia, which is a Portland local band, is listed on this poster, and they're playing this weekend.
Oh, right on. Where at? Do you know?
They are fantastic, man.
All right. Where do you know what venue they're playing at?
Yeah, they're playing this weekend with Ensiferum, dude. They're the opening band.
Oh, damn. Yes. Excellent. Very cool. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together on that one. All right. Excellent.
Yeah, they just posted on Facebook the set time is for the night. And, man, they were really good the last time I saw them. I saw them open up for Ailstorm the last time they were in town. And I loved them.
All right. Hell yeah, dude. Let's see how they do.
I'm looking forward to seeing them again.
All right, man. Well, let's do this. Let's end the show for now, and then we will definitely have to meet up at the concert and have a good time.
For sure, man.
All right. Well, I'll catch you later, dude.
All right.
Bye for now. Okay, so here's the metal shows coming to Portland, Oregon from now until the end of March, starting with this Saturday, January 19th, Ensiferum and Septicflesh at the Hawthorne Theater. Thursday, January 31st, Corrosion of Conformity and Crowbar at the Hawthorne Theater. Saturday, February 2nd, Proven with Kingdom Under Fire at the Hawthorne Theater. Wednesday, February 13th, Born of Osiris and Chelsea Grin at the Hawthorne Theater. Friday, February 22nd, Weresquatch and Saboteur at the High Watermark Lounge. Sunday, February 24th, Soulfly and Cataclysm at the Bassanova Ballroom. Monday, February 25th, the Decibel Tour featuring Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel plus Immolation. That's going to be a good one. Definitely recommend it at the Roseland Theater. Monday, March 11th, Cradle of Filth at the Crystal Ballroom. Thursday, March 14th, Within Temptation and In Flames at the Roseland Theater. Monday, March 25th, Veil of Maya and the Intervals at the Hawthorne Theater. Last but not least, Saturday, March 30th, Children of Bodom with Swallow the Sun at the Hawthorne Theater. That's the shows coming to Portland from now until the end of March. Stay tuned for more metal shows coming through and also more talk. We will be back with the Portland Metal Show in 2 weeks.